Lucy was a 32-year-old graphic designer. Her life was a vibrant tapestry of creativity and independence. She resided in a modest yet charming apartment, nestled in the heart of the bustling city, with her long auburn hair often swept into a messy bun and her paint splattered jeans. She was a perfect reflection of her cozy art-filled space. Despite her vivacious personality and her love for her creative haven, Lucy often felt an nagging sense of emptiness. Her days were consumed by the demands of her work, and her evenings were often spent in solitude, leaving her yearning for a deeper connection, a spark of romance that seemed to elude her one blustery evening as she made her way home after a particularly demanding day. At the office, she noticed a man huddled beneath a weathered awning, his body shivering against the relentless onslaught of the rain. Her heart aches at the sight of him. He appeared to be in his late 50s, his gray hair and scruffy beard testament to a life lived, his clothes soaked through and a look of quiet despair etched upon his face. "Excuse me, sir, are you all right?" Lucy asked, her voice filled with concern. The man gazed upward, astonishment briefly overshadowing the fatigue in his eyes. "I'm fine," he responded, his voice hoarse from the cold, just awaiting the cessation of the rain. But Lucy discerned his pretense, acknowledging the strain the adverse weather was inflicting upon him. "Kindly enter indoors," she implored, advancing nearer, her compassion superseding any reluctance. "It is inadvisable to be outdoors in these conditions." He paused briefly, deliberating her proposal in relation to his pride before ultimately acquiescing and gradually accompanying her to her apartment building. He calmly stated, "I am Robert." Lucy responded with a warm grin, her voice tinged with thanks as they entered her inviting abode. The calming scent of herbal tea pervaded the air, establishing a welcoming ambience. She presented him with a luxurious towel, indicating the bathroom nearby. "Kindly take a hot shower. I will make a warm meal for you afterwards." His eyes expanded in astonishment. "You don't need to carry out this action," she insisted, her tone sweet yet forceful. "You appear to require warmth and sustenance." Lucas acknowledged her with gratitude before heading into the bathroom. Elle occupied herself in the kitchen, her thoughts filled with curiosity about the stranger she had welcomed into her home were accompanied by an unexplained sense of anticipation that she could not dispel. The sound of running water stopped, and Lucas exited the bathroom, steam following him like a spectral presence. Droplets clung to his forehead, his hair moist, and for a moment Lucy found herself captivated. She had assumed he would seem rejuvenated after the warm shower, but she did not foresee the metamorphosis. He appeared more robust, and lively features softened, and a spark of renewed vitality in his eyes. "Sorry," he said, a sheepish grin spreading across his face, noticing her lingering gaze. "Didn't mean to startle you." Lucy blushed, quickly averting her eyes, her attention drawn to the simmering soup on the stove. "No worries," she managed to manage, her voice slightly flustered. "You just look different without the rain." She added, feeling warmth creep up her neck. "Thank you," he replied with a chuckle, self-consciously adjusting the towel around his waist. Lucy's heart pounded as she turned back towards the kitchen. She couldn't explain it, but something in that brief exchange and the unexpected connection they had forged felt profoundly different. It was a spark, a flicker of possibility that ignited, and I hope she had long suppressed. "Sorry about that," Lucas exclaimed quickly, adjusting the towel around his waist. "I suppose I'm still getting used to the idea of not being drenched, Lucy laughed, trying to mask her flustered reaction. No worries, it happens, she replied, her gaze fixed on the stove top, avoiding his eyes. They soon settled at her small dining table, the warmth of the food and the easy flow of conversation slowly melting away the initial awkwardness. Lucas shared stories from his past, offering glimpses of a life once filled with dreams and aspirations, a life that had taken an unexpected detour. Lucy found herself captivated by his tales, his words painting a vivid picture of resilience and determination. She admired his strength, each revelation revealing the depth and complexity of the man before her. As they finished their meal, Lucy felt a profound connection forming between them, a bond that transcended the years that separated them. Would you care for some tea? Lucas responded with a mischievous sparkle in his eyes, accepting her proposal to stand and clear the plates. She concurred with a smile, placing the kettle on the stove and procuring 2 mugs from the cupboard. They transitioned to the living room, where the gentle illumination of a light creates a nice personal atmosphere, and took their seats on the couch. Lucy presented Lucas with a steaming mug, their fingers briefly touching, eliciting a tingle of electricity along her spine. What prompted your arrival in this neighborhood? Lucas sighed, his gaze descending to the swirling steam emanating from his mug. Life has taken several unforeseen turns, he admitted. I ended up, well, let's just say I wasn't always as fortunate as I am now, but I am endeavoring to regain my footing. His candor resonated with Lucy, evoking a wave of empathy. I admire your resilience, she remarked softly, her voice imbued with warmth. It must have been challenging. Thank you, he replied, a trace of vulnerability evident in his tone. It is reassuring to discuss it and to feel that someone comprehends. Without hesitation, Lucy reached out and gently placed her hand on his forearm. You are not alone, Robert, she assured him, deserve kindness and support. Robert's eyes met hers, filled with gratitude and a warmth that stirred something deep within her. And you, he said, his voice barely above a whisper, are incredibly kind. In that moment, the atmosphere in the room shifted, charged with an undeniable energy. Lucy could feel the magnetic pull between them, bridging the gap that age and circumstance had created. Lucas leaned in slightly, their faces inches apart, their breaths mingling in the quiet space between them. Is it strange, he asked, his voice thick with emotion, that I feel this connection to pull towards you? No, Lucy whispered, her heart pounding in her chest. Not at all, I feel it too. And with that, Lucas closed the distance between his lips, capturing hers, and a soft tentative kiss. It was a gentle exploration, a question posed and answered in the silent language of desire. Lucy's heart soared as she leaned into him, deepening the kiss, their connection blossoming into something unexpected and electrifying. You're absolutely right. Robert's hands reached Lucy's waist, drawing her nearer until their bodies aligned perfectly, sparking an electric current between them. Lucy's fingers tangled in his hair, feeling the warmth radiating from him as their kiss deepened with each passing moment, a symphony of exhilaration and longing. When they finally broke apart, breathless and flushed, Lucas Barr gazed into her eyes, his expression a mixture of awe and disbelief. I didn't expect that, he murmured, his voice soft and filled with wonder. Neither did I, Lucy admitted, her heart thrumming with a blend of excitement and nervousness. May I stay a little longer? Lucas asked, his tone sincere and his gaze unwavering. Of course, she replied, her pulse quickening as they settled back onto the couch, enveloped in the cozy warmth of the room. while the rain continued its rhythmic pattern as time progressed. Lucy experienced a revitalized sensation of vigor, a flicker of potential awakening inside her. As the evening advanced, they exchanged laughter and narratives, astonished by the unforeseen similarities they uncovered despite their markedly disparate lifestyles. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, like a river finding its course. As midnight approached, a deeper intimacy settled over them, the light-hearted banter giving way to an unspoken connection, a silent acknowledgement of the profound bond that was forming between them. Lucas shifted closer, his eyes holding hers, an unspoken question hanging in the air. Lucy's breath quickened, her heart pounding in anticipation as she leaned towards him, a soft smile gracing her lips. "I've never met anyone quite like you," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "The feeling is mutual," Lucas replied, his voice thick with emotion. Drawn to each other once more, their lips met in a renewed kiss, this time with fervent urgency. Robert's hands gently cued Lucy's face, his thumbs softly caressing her cheeks. As their kiss deepened, Lucy's body instinctively molded against his, her hands entwined in his hair, pulling him closer as their connection intensified. As they kissed, Lucy felt her worries dissipated, giving way to a comforting warmth that swept through her. There were no judgments, no expectations, only the sweet anticipation of the unknown and the thrill of exploring this unexpected connection. "Let's go to the bedroom," Lucy whispered between kisses, her voice breathless with desire. Lucas nodded, his warm breath caressing her skin, and stood offering her his hand. They walked hand in hand towards her room, the air thick with anticipation inside. Lucy turned to face him, her heart raced as she absorbed his rugged features, the soft light highlighting his strong jawline and gentle eyes. Lucas closed the distance between them, his arms encircling her waist as their lips met again, this time with a fervent intensity that sent shivers down her spine. Upon reaching the bed, Lucy gently pushed him down, her fingers tracing the contours of his chest, feeling the strength beneath his touch. She climbed onto the bed beside him, their faces mere inches apart. In a whisper she asked, "Are you sure about this?" "More than anything," Lucas replied, his eyes filled with longing. Lucy leaned down, their lips merging in a passionate embrace as she pressed her body against him. The warmth of his embrace enveloped her, igniting a fire within. Her hands explored his body, each touch imbued with wonder and urgency, tracing every line and curve with newfound curiosity. As she surrendered to the intoxicating moment, "I apologize for the oversight. I am currently in the process of development and striving for more thoroughness. Thank you for bringing it to my attention." Lucy's pulse accelerated as their lips intensified with each caress, kindling a fervor within her. Robert's hands ascended her sides, his fingers delineating intricate patterns down her waist and back, drawing her nearer as if he could not endure even a moment's separation from her. Lucy, wearing a teasing smile, reclined slightly, her eyes meeting his. "What are your preferences?" she inquired playfully, voice soft yet laced with curiosity. "Tell me what makes you tick." Lucas chuckled, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "Well, I've always admired a confident woman who knows what she wants," he replied, his voice a warm caress that sent shivers down her spine. Ennobled by his words, Lucy leaned in, kissing him deeply with her hands, exploring the contours of his shoulders, then trailing down to his chest where she felt the steady rhythm of his heart. Beneath her touch she reveled in his response to her every caress there, breaths mingling in the quiet intimacy of the moment. His hands in turn traced the delicate curve of her back, his touch sending sparks of electricity along her spine. "You're beautiful," he murmured between soft kisses, his lips brushing against her neck, sending shivers of delight through her. Lucy closed her eyes, surrendering to the moment, allowing his touch and his words to wash over her like a warm wave. Feeling a surge of boldness, Lucy pressed him back against the soft sheets, their bodies molding together perfectly. She reveled in the sensation of their closeness, each passing moment deepening their connection, and their movements a synchronized dance of passion and desire. Robert's hands gently gripped her thighs, holding her close as if he never wanted. Robert struggled to let go of Lucy, his voice heavy with emotion. "You have no idea how long I've dreamed about this." "What did you dream of?" she whispered, her voice catching as his fingers traced the curves of her body. His gaze is intense at having you near, feeling your warmth, and finally kissing you. A wave of exhilaration washed over her, and with her heart pounding she leaned down, trailing kisses along his jawline down to his neck, savoring each stolen moment. She felt his breath hitch beneath her touch, the subtle reaction filling her with a quiet sense of power and joy. "Tell me what you want," Lucy murmured. Her voice was low in horror and her eyes were searching. "I desire comprehensive knowledge." Robert's breath halted in his throat, his stare steadfast. "You are distracting me with your presence," confessed, a playful smile tugging at his lips. "I want to feel all of you." With a teasing smile, Lucy shifted, allowing him a moment to admire her beauty. His eyes darkened with desire and he pulled her closer, their lips meeting in a deep, passionate kiss, and that they were lost in each other, the world outside fading into insignificance as they reveled in the warmth and intimacy of their connection. As Lucy leaned into her, breath hitched with each touch, igniting a fire that spread through her like wildfire. "Mo," she whispered, her voice husky with anticipation, encouraging him to explore the uncharted territories of her desire. She arched against him, inviting his hands to roam freely, body a tuned to his every move, every nuance of his touch. With a playful glint in his eyes, Lucas gently rolled her over, pinning her softly against the bed. "I'll give you more," he murmured, his voice low and laced with promise. Slowly he trailed kisses down her neck, savoring each inch of her skin as he made his way to her delicate collarbone. Lucy's hands threaded through his hair, her breath quickening, lost in the intoxicating sensation of his gentle teasing caresses. As he moved lower, he paused and met her gaze with a mischievous smile, asking, "Are you ready for this?" he asked, his voice a soft whisper that sent shivers of anticipation down her spine. "Yes, please," Lucy breathed, her voice barely audible, her desire and excitement building with each passing second. Accompanied by a tender smile, Lucas continued his exploration, his kisses tracing a path along her abdomen, hands mapping her body with reverence that left her breathless. She felt a warmth building within her, a sweet ache that made her feel more alive than ever before, lost in the sensation. She whispered his name, touching each kiss, sending waves of pleasure through her as they moved together, enveloped in the warmth and closeness they shared. Outside, the rain continued its gentle symphony against the window pane, a soothing backdrop to the intimacy unfolding within. Their connection felt boundless, exhilarating, yet comforting, an unspoken understanding woven through every lingering glance and tender touch as the war on they drifted. Into a quiet contentment Lucy nestled in. Robert's embrace, her head resting on his chest, the steady rhythm of his heartbeat lulled her into a sense of peace, and she sighed, feeling utterly content. What now? She asked softly, her eyes sparkling with curiosity as she looked up at him. Lucas smiled, his thumb gently stroking her cheek. Now we savor, he replied, his voice tender and reassuring. I don't want this to end. I have a strong desire to delve deeper into this relationship, undeniable bond between us. Lucy's heart swelled at his too. She whispered, her voice filled with warmth. I've never felt this way before. You made me feel truly alive. He leaned down, capturing her lips in a sweet lingering kiss that spoke volumes of the connection they had found. I want to keep discovering you, Lucy, he murmured, his gaze filled with sincerity. And I want you to know I'm here for you, no matter what. Her heart fluttered, a warmth spreading through her as she smiled, feeling safe and accepted in his presence. And I'm here for you too, she replied. I never thought I'd feel this way about someone. They lay together, their hearts beating in unison and basking in the afterglow of their newfound intimacy. Each felt as if they had found a missing piece of themselves, connection that transcended the boundaries of age and circumstance. A rainy night had brought them together, and now, enveloped in the warmth of their embrace, they knew that what they shared was more than just a fleeting moment. Their connection resonated within that serene luminescence, indestructible. You want to have fun with me like Lukey? Then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will get the links in the description.